and welcome to my top 10 games of the year. Oh my god, let's do it. In at number 10 we have Endless Space. This is the 4X strategy game from Amplitude Studios. Now I love this game. I love 4X games anyway. I love games like Civilization. I love Galactic Civilizations. I just love Endless Space. Now you can either conquer the galaxy through political means and convert everybody to your filthy alliance, or you could just go and kill everybody. Now obviously I just like to go and kill everybody because, well, screw politics, let's just kill people for the sake of it. But it does have some problems, and the main problem, and this is the reason why it's so far down my list at number 10, is the combat. While it looks okay to begin with, it really gets old really quick. Or really fast even, so you don't actually control your ships in combat. All you do is play cards which affect what's going to happen, so you could increase your kinetic weapons damage, for example. You may play a card that counters the enemy card. Now this is where the problems arise. If the enemy has a stronger fleet than you, but you are lucky, and this is totally random, and you counter the enemy's cards, you could destroy the enemy's fleet, and that's kind of not right. So if the combat system was a bit different, it would definitely be much higher up my games of the year list. But even as it stands, it's awesome. And it's also got a bit of free DLC which has recently just come out, which is, well, you've got to love it. In at number 9 we've got Torchlight II. Now, you may remember earlier on in the year Diablo 3 launched, and it was a bit of a catastrophe. Your things like the always online DRM and things like that, and the terrible way the game dealt with character progression and the terrible loot system and all of that. It was quite bad. So I was looking forward to Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 then comes out. Good lord, it was quite the game. So you've got none of the online DRM, you can play with your friends straight away, you can have big... Well, I mean, you could have co-op games in Diablo, don't get me wrong, but it was much easier to do in Torchlight 2. And it was what you would have expected a classic action RPG game to be. Loads of monsters, loads of crazy abilities, and loads of loot. The problem is, the loot is absolutely shit. On 99% of the loot was really bad. Absolutely, terribly, terribly bad. And that wasn't very good. You know, a game based around loot, it would have been better if the loot was actually worth your time looting, because you would leave loads of it on the floor. It didn't have any story really of note, but then it didn't matter because it was just a classic action RPG game. People who were craving Diablo 2 when Diablo 3 came out, Torchlight 2 really scratched that itch, and that's why Torchlight 2 is number 9 in my games of the year. In at number 8 we've got Natural Selection 2. Good lord, this game is awesome. It is Natural Selection 1 but with better graphics. Oh yes, it's just a better game. It is so much better than Natural Selection 1. I cannot believe it, and it is absolutely, it's awesome, this game is. So the idea with Natural Selection is you either play as the Marines, so you build your Marine base. So one guy's the commander, everybody else are the Marines, and the commander gives the Marines the orders. He puts down structures, your gun turrets, your resource nodes, your research buildings, and all the rest of it. The other team are the aliens, so they obviously infect the area with all the alien filth, and they try and kill the Marines. And the aim of the game is to kill the other team's command centers, so kill the alien brain hive freak thing, or kill the Marines command stations, and once you've killed them all, you win the game. So this is a FPS RTS game hybrid. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But you're probably thinking, well, why Stylosa? Isn't this higher up your list like previous games in the list that you're telling me are absolutely awesome? Well, it depends on a highly organised team. If you have a really poor team, if you have a commander, which is the most essential role in the game, who does not know what they are doing, then you lose, and it becomes very frustrating. But if you can find a community of people who are awesome at the game, oh my god, the game is absolutely awesome. In at number 7 we've got CounterStrike Global Offensive. Now, I was a bit sceptical of this to begin with. Oh, it's the same old Counter-Strike game. It's just like Counter-Strike Source. Why the hell would I want to play this? Well, that's exactly why I wanted to play it. I just didn't know at the time. So I played Counter-Strike Source like an absolute animal. I played it for, I don't even know how long I played the game for. But then, it's obviously an old game, so I hadn't played the game for years. Global Offensive comes out. Oh dear, it shone a light down upon me. And it said, Stylosa, this is how a team-based FPS multiplayer game is done. You want skill, you want accuracy, have Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And it reignited these old flames I had for Counter-Strike, for the highly precise multiplayer shooters. None of this arcadey style of the Battlefield games, of your Call of Duties, or any of that. Forget all of that. This is a real man's game, and I streamed the game for hours and hours last year. I've played it loads and loads, way more than I ever thought I would. It's one of the surprise gems of the year for me, and it is just awesome. It is the essential CounterStrike experience, and that is why I love CounterStrike Global Offensive. In at number 6 we've got Guild Wars 2. Now this may be slightly controversial, although I'm going to convince you as to why this game is so high up my list. Now I don't have a max level character, I've not completed all the content in the game, and in all honesty I played the game very intensively for its first week of launch, and then I've played it very sporadically. It's not something I play all the time. It's not a game, I couldn't even tell you when the last time I played the game was. So this might be a bit strange. Why is this so high up my list? Well, it's more to do with what they've actually managed to achieve. They have, ArenaNet have had the most successful MMO launch since World of Warcraft. Now Guild Wars 2, it's very similar to World of Warcraft, but it does change the way certain things are done. It pushes the genre forward. It innovates. Now, it's not completely off the wall innovation. It's almost a natural evolution of the genre. And that's why I like this, because it's not the same old MMO. It's not a clone of World of Warcraft. It's its own game in its own right. Okay, it takes some of the best elements from games like World of Warcraft, but it still has its own identity. And I have massive respect for that. And that is why Guild Wars 2 is number 6 in my games of the year. In at number 5 we have FTL. This is Faster Than Light. This is the roguelike space captain ship hero game. Oh my god. I've always wanted to be the captain of the Enterprise. Like most people out there, everybody wants to be Jean-Luc Picard. Some people want to be Captain Kirk. I don't blame them for that, but me, I'm a Jean-Luc Picard man. So when FTL came out, I could not believe it. Such a simple idea. I mean, it's so simple. Visually, it's so simple. The way the game plays is so simple, yet it's so addictive. Me and Kirioth have played this game loads and loads and loads. We did our awesome Let's Win gameplay series where we tried to get to the end of the sector to fight the Rebel flagship, but we didn't, and we died horrifically. But that's part of the thing with FTL. Every game is totally different. It's roguelike, so if you die, well, you're dead. There is no coming back. You have to go and start at the beginning of the game. Massively crushing, massively difficult. But every time you play the game, something totally different happens. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And that is why FTL is number 5 in my games of the year. In at number 4, we have DayZ. Now, this game has completely revolutionised the zombie survival genre. In fact, it's basically invented it. You've got games like Left 4 Dead and stuff like that, very arcadey. They were out before, pre-DayZ. Now we have DayZ, and this is the quintessential zombie survival game. This was one of the only games of the year that I did not know what to expect when I loaded the game up. I didn't know. I was like, I got Arma 2. I installed this was before you had the nice little installer. It was horrific. I got onto a server. It was laggy. It was a total mess. But none of that mattered. I could see the sheer potential of this game, and it completely blew me away. Now, there's been tons of coverage of DayZ all across YouTube and the internet as a whole, and it really is something. I cannot wait to get my hands on the actual standalone release client. It's going to be, well, it already is one of the games of the decade, and it's been so influential. I would be stupid to ignore DayZ in my top games of the year, because it has been, as I say, so influential. Is it a game I play all the time? No, not necessarily, but the experiences I had when I did play the game fairly frequently were so unbelievable and so awesome. That is why DayZ is so high up my Games of the Year list. It is quite the thing. In at number 3, we've got Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Oh my god, this is the game I've always wanted. First person, medieval, hack and slash, massive gore, with quite a bit of skill involved as well. Blocking, parrying, feinting to hit. It's such a basic game. When you look at the game, the amount of content in the game is kind of minimal at the moment, although there is a big patch coming out early next year. But it is so satisfying when you run up to somebody and you chop their head off. Oh my god, it is so satisfying. Me and Kirioth have had such a great time playing Chivalry. It's just, I contemplated the idea of putting this further down the list, you know, maybe at 8 or 7, and I thought, no, I've had such an awesome time with this game. This has got to go number 3. It just has to be number 3. Oh god, you've seen all our Chivalry content. If you haven't, get clicking the videos on, get searching for it on our channel. It's just insane, and that's why Chivalry Medieval Warfare is number 3 in my Games of the Year list. In at number 2, we have XCOM Enemy Unknown. This is a turn-based strategy game, people, and it's sold like you would not believe it. Now you might think, Stylosa, you're a bit mad. Why do you think XCOM is the second best game of the year, in your opinion? Well, it's not really to do with the game itself, because yeah, the game had its problems. It was, I'm not going to go into the problems, but it had its problems. It wasn't perfect. You could easily argue the original XCOM was a far superior game. In fact, it is a far superior game. But it's not really to do with that. It's to do with the fact that a turn-based strategy game, this is a genre which has not been touched for years and years and years by any AAA developer, has been a success. Now this means there's going to be a knock-on effect. We're going to see situations where new turn-based strategy games are going to be developed, and this is awesome because this is one of my all-time favourite genres of games. Turn-based strategy is awesome, and the success XCOM has had is only going to stoke the flames of development and going to produce more and more turn-based strategy games, and that's why XCOM Enemy Unknown is number 2 in my Games of the Year list. And last but not least, coming in as my favourite game of the year, it's PlanetSide 2. Oh lord. Now, if you've been following my channel religiously, like I hope everybody has, you will know there's absolutely tons of content on PlanetSide 2. Is it the perfect game? No, it's nowhere near the perfect game. So why then, Stylosa, have you put this as your game of the year? Because this is the only game you can see an actual war taking place. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of people on each team fighting each other in such an epic fight. It is unbelievable. It's one of these sites you see in gaming which it's almost I'm finding it hard to explain this, but it's almost like I was there. It's one of them moments. I was there. I played PlanetSide 2. You know, I was there when the massive fights broke out. I was there at the Crown as we were about to lose it. There were hundreds and hundreds of VS coming. We were the last. We were going to die, but it didn't matter because we were going to give it our all, and that's all that mattered. And we got killed. But I tell you what, the sight of it, absolutely magnificent. You know, I was there when we spawned 20 odd Prowler tanks at the warp gate and the whole unit lost outfit marched to war. I was there when we filled 3 galaxies full of infantry and hot dropped across the map. These are the things which make PlanetSide 2 awesome. Yeah, sure, the game does have its problems. It's got issues with optimization and stuff like that. But the sheer experiences this game can give you, you cannot find in any other game. And that is why this is my game of the year. PlanetSide 2 is my game of 2012. So let's recap what we've gone over. So at number 10, we have Endless Space. At number 9, we've got Torchlight 2. At number 8, we've got Natural Selection 2. At number 7, we've got CounterStrike Global Offensive. At number 6, we've got Guild Wars 2. At number 5, we've got FTL Faster Than Light. At number 4, we've got DayZ. At number 3, we've got Chivalry Medieval Warfare. At number 2, we've got XCOM Enemy Unknown. And as my game of the year, we have PlanetSide 2. Good lord, I cannot wait for 2013, or for our American friends out there, 2013. I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.